Greetings, fellow Tekken fans. Figured today I'd try something that's been on my mind for decades at this point. I really like the Tekken lore. I've always been interested in it, been interested in the canon, and very been interested in how the tournaments actually play out. And unfortunately, the lore is very touch and go on that, and that's kind of putting it generously. Uh, I really wish we had more canon explanations for this, like brackets throughout the games, but it's because it's so scarce, the information we have, that I guess I get to do this. Through what we do know of the canon and canon matches that happen, I'm gonna try and rebuild the brackets of the Tekken tournaments, the King of Iron Fist tournaments. And this video is gonna be Tekken 1, probably the easiest one to do. We have a number of competitors that fits perfectly into a bracket. We have 16, and then Heihachi being the boss, making it 17. A 16-person bracket here fits nicely with this. I have a feeling future Tekken games will not be as simple. I started off here with the basic information, Kazuya beating Heihachi in the finals to win the tournament. And then we're going to go back from there and try and fill out the rest of this bracket and see just how this went down. I'm going to try and use as much canon material as possible, but there are going to be times where I just have to make a judgment call. And if I make any mistakes, please let me know. For this video specifically, I'm going to have to be checking a lot of old manuals, the manuals of Tekken 1 and Tekken 2, because a lot of the Tekken 2 character info has information like who they lost to and such. So I'll be using a lot of that. Looking at the Tekken 2 manual here, looking at Paul specifically, he lost the final round of the last tournament, so we can safely assume that Paul was runner-up basically to Kazuya. And this is pretty much understood throughout the canon. Paul and Kazuya faced before the events of Tekken 1. They drew and then had their rematch here, and Kazuya won. Paul through Tekken 1 through 4 is like a different beast than he is Tekken 5 onward. Yeah, Paul was definitely a strong contender. And he just kind of fell off in the later Tekkens lore wise. This is where it gets tricky, and I'm gonna have to actually go from the beginning here. Alright, so we have all of the canonical matches that happened here in this first round. All of these matches in the first round are matches that have happened canonically, except for Wang and Law. I could not find any confirmation of this match actually happening in the canon, but everyone else is paired up, so I guess they'll be here. And I think they are the sub bosses for each other, but there's no. I couldn't find any canonical confirmation that this match happened. But anyway, we can just say Kazuya won all of these, as it's confirmed that he wins. And then, so I've seen it's very limited on the information of King versus Armor King, but the the only thing I've seen is King places third overall in the tournament, which I can't confirm. I haven't found any sources confirming that, but it does make sense that King would be Armor King, and it depending on doesn't really matter who wins this. It's kind of a moot point. Whoever wins that match, because they'll just lose to Kazuya anyway. So might as well say King wins this. Jack and P-Jack. This one has been really. I've had a really tough time finding confirmation on this. I've seen both somehow, but I think it makes sense that Prototype Jack would win. I think it makes sense that Prototype Jack would win. As, Prototype Jack defeats Jack, destroys him, and then in Tekken 2, Jack 2 comes. I feel like that makes sense. Then this was interesting. Uh, Apparently, in a manual or bio I don't have access to, according to the Tekken Wiki, Kunimitsu's intro bio to both Tekken 1 and Tekken 2 mention Michelle, and the one in Tekken 2 mentions how Kunimitsu targeted Michelle but failed. So I think that's just meaning Michelle wins. And I guess it makes sense that Michelle would face Kazuya here, because in Tekken 2, Kazuya, according to Michelle's Tekken 2 bio in the manual, Kazuya is targeting Michelle for her amulet and kidnaps her mother in order for her to participate in the tournament. So I guess it makes sense that they would have this interaction here to set that up. I'm pretty sure it's widely believed that Yoshimitsu wins this match. Like he beats Ganryu and steals his ill-gotten gains. It's like Kazuya wins and his ending is canonical. And then it's like when other people win, they get a non-canonical ending, but it seems like Yoshimitsu's ending is still canonical. I think that's the case in Tekken 2 as well. But yeah, Yoshimitsu defeating Ganryu, I feel like we can all agree that that happened. Anna and Nina, I'm pretty sure Nina. I've had a hard time finding confirmation on this, but I think it makes sense that Nina would win here. Paul and Kuma. Paul, this was easy to find. It, Surprisingly, the rivalry between Paul and Kuma is well documented on who wins where, and it's the same with in future Tekken's King and Marduk. That's very helpful when they tell me who wins where. And yeah, Paul went in here. I mean, you could also we could just process of elimination. Paul wins this, determined by Paul's Tekken 2 bio and the fact that he lost to Kazuya. So I think it makes sense here that Law would win here and then face his friend Paul. That just makes sense to me. It doesn't really matter which one of these two wins, but I feel like it makes sense that Law and Paul would face each other. And then here, Nina and Yoshimitsu. Now, as I'm looking at this, it also makes sense if Anna and Anna was swapped with Michelle and Cooney. Because I can also see Nina facing Kazuya. That's an interaction that I feel happens. So I guess it doesn't matter if Nina and Anna are here and Michelle and Cooney are here. But I feel like if Michelle and Cooney were here, Cooney would win because the Yoshimitsu Cooney matchup would make sense. But it seems like Michelle wins. I feel like there's nothing I'm going off of here. I just have the feeling Yoshimitsu. I could be wrong. I could be wrong here. You could put Nina here. It doesn't really matter because Paul's winning anyway. So yeah, this is the best bracket I could come up with. Uh, some of these you could swap out. Maybe Michelle and Cooney and Anna and Nina. But and then of course like stuff like Prototype Jack and Jack, and like Wang and Law, they could be swapped. But I feel like this is pretty accurate. I mean, there's no canonical proof, and I don't think the creators of Tekken 1 ever thought to actually put everything in a tournament. So this is probably as best as we can gather. But if you have any other information or you just disagree, let me know. Do look forward to doing this with future Tekkens, but I am afraid that they're going to be a bit more complex. But until next time, farewell, fellow Tekken fans.